Yes, America. It is Wednesday night. It is time for the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. It's time for Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. Let's stand up and shout, Bass Fishing Galaxy. The time has come. Yes, we are back. Wow.
Yo.
Holy cow.
Holy horse.
Look at, we saw her at the Bassmaster Classic. I'm glad y'all made it over here. It's an amazing day. It's an amazing day. We're back. We have survived the long space trip, and we are back in the Stray Cast studio, and we are super excited to bring to you tonight the 2019 Bassmaster Classic champion, Ott DeFoe. Yes. Coming to us via the Skype machine from the old BPT on Lake Jordan. Pretty cool today. I'd had a great day today.
Yeah, great ending.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of this guy, and next to me, special guest star tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for James Elam. James Elam sitting in tonight for Ryan Whitaker. Oh, wait, you are Ryan Whitaker.
Oh, yeah. I forgot for a second.
At the Bassmaster Classic, they're like, you know, the guy that looks like James Elam. You know. I mean, and I go,
yeah, I've been tagged in that photo enough times.
Popcorn. Does the face recognition come up on Facebook, like for you and James Elam? Is that the same thing?
It hasn't. Maybe it does for him. You know, maybe it comes up
probably
as
does.
me.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. He's a drummer. He drums, he skateboards, and he also has a pretty cool deal going with the Galloping Gourmet, Daniel Marsupial, I believe. And it's it's Jawa wear. It's
Jawa?
Jawa from Star. No, it's Jawas from Star Wars. What's the name of that planet that the Jawas live on, Andy? What's the name of the planet the Jawas live on?
Karnika?
No. That's where James Watson and those guys were fishing a couple of years ago. But no, the new Awa. Check it out. Awa. On
AWAW.
AWAW on
Apparel.com.
Instagram. Instagram. Hey, this spicy fella coming up next around the horn. Give it up for JP Codigalo. JP, hi. Hi, JP. How are you?
Hi.
How you doing? You're fresh back from Gunnersville. So, JP, I want to ask you a question. I need to know answers here, okay? I went fishing with Popcorn the other day. We wrecked him. Of course.
Always.
Yeah.
Damn near killed him.
So I'm going to confess a little something here about myself. I'm very sensitive to noxious odors and smells. It makes me gag. And I almost vomit every time I smell something nauseous. Andy Ellenberger can attest to that. For the first time we ever smelled the Max scent. The Max scent almost did me in on the river. But, JP, I went into the back of Ryan's truck, and your Gunnersville hoodie that was there, it is the most foulest smelling beast I have ever encountered. What the hell did you do to this thing?
Still have that?
What did you do to this hoodie?
Yeah, it's in the back of the truck.
It was a great Stray Cast hoodie at one time. And now it's down the toilet. Exactly.
It needs a professional wash.
Yeah, what the hell is the smell? I want to know what the smell is.
It rained for like 3 days. I didn't do laundry.
It's like every.
It was raining and I threw it in the back of a truck.
It's
like hardcore
It's the
mold,
smell of every dead person ever from Game of Thrones.
It is
thrown in a barrel.
When we go outside, I'm gonna open the hatch for you.
It's horrid. We should videotape.
It's
that.
unreal.
We should videotape that.
That's how we do.
Enough about that. Please wash that. Please wash that. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, around the horn, I'd like to proudly introduce the complete polar opposite of Ferris Bueller. This guy plays it safe. He is Andrew Ellenberger, the Ninja. Ninja. What's up, Ninja?
What's up?
You survived the classic. You did. Amazing. I got a lot of things to go over. I know we got to get to Ott. I just got a couple things to go over. Tomorrow night live on, BassU.tv. Bass University. I got it right. I think, yeah, bassu.tv. Me and Glusick, we can never get the damn website right. But and thank you so much to Bass University for the hospitality that you showed us at the Bassmaster Classic. It was a blast co-hosting with you, Peter Glusick. That whole time I got to wear the Bass University hat the whole weekend. Andrew Yellenberger, the Ginger Ninja, helped out. Also, tambien, yes, as they would say in Spanish. So tomorrow night, bassu.tv is live. I think 7 Eastern, and Chris Saldane and De Palma. I think De Palma's going to be on there too, so tune into that. Also, good luck to everybody kicking off on the FLW Tour tomorrow on Grand Lake. I think that's going to be a good one. Who's your horse in the race for that, Ginge? Who's your horse? You're going Thrift? I'm going our new dude, Hunter Freeman.
Yeah.
I'm picking Hunter Freeman just because he's cool. It's the only reason. Only reason.
I think they're all sandbagging because everyone said it's not right.
They're a bunch of baggers. They are definitely a bunch of
They all
sandbaggers.
say that.
Yeah.
Also, finally, last but not least, special thank you. Oh, no, we got more. Special thank you to Paul Zoost, a bass head and viewer of Straycast. He sent us some awesome memorabilia. Thank you so
really
much.
Cool stuff, man.
Totally cool BASS Big O and a BASS old topwater plug.
That thing is interesting,
Dude,
man.
very interesting.
It's
And
got
of course,
vent holes.
he sent the old Spent Scout, but that's getting fished. Sorry, guys. The old Spent Scout is. Okay, the big giveaway. You know that on Wednesday nights here at Straycast, it's one of the coolest places to win free stuff. It's
Easiest
super
places
easy.
to win free stuff.
It's super easy. Every
Yeah.
bass fisherman loves free stuff, right? All you got to do is like and share the live Facebook feed. Okay, like and share the live Facebook feed. And here's something important. Make sure you put it on public. I just got informed of this. When you like and share, put that on a public view. Otherwise, you don't show up in the randomizer at the end of the show. So you're selling yourself short here. You're not getting an opportunity to win the prize. Tonight's prize is $50 worth of line and lure, Kevin Van Dam's line and lure conditioner, courtesy of Line and Lure and Isaac Moore. So all you got to do is like and share the live Facebook feed, put it on public, boom, it's right there. All right, let's get this show on the road. Put the power poles down. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with Ott DeFoe. Step up your game. It has been said that professionals are only as good as the tools they work with, and Alpha Angler has developed the ultimate set of tools for you, the competitive angler. Alpha Angler custom rods, brought to fruition by the passion of master craftsman Jake Boomer and 2017 BASS Angler of the Year Brandon Palaniuk. Alpha Angler rods are custom made in the USA. Designed and engineered to be perfect, Alpha Angler utilizes a very unconventional approach to making the very best bass rods, from drop shotting to flipping. Alpha Angler's focus is on building perfectly balanced tournament-grade bass rods at an affordable price. Join the Alphalution today and purchase direct at alphaangler.com. Step up your game. alphaangler.com.
farther, get some Kevin Van Dam's line and lure. You can launch it a mile. Still going. Better stick to fishing.
Discover the magic of balsa. For decades, professional fishermen and the angling elite come to rely on the fish-catching performance of hand-carved custom balsa lures. PH Custom Lures by Phil Hunt have assembled the comprehensive line of custom balsa baits. The original Huntin' Pete, Bill Lowenstaller Bill, Wesley Strader's Ploppin' Pete, and the new Matt Heron Fudd, in addition to the entire family of PH Custom Lures, are just what you need to get that edge over the competition. Discover the magic of balsa today and visit phcustomlures.com. That's phcustomlures.com.
Hey guys, Micah Frazier here. I've got a bait from War Eagle. It's called the Screaming Eagle. You may think this is a small 1/4 ounce bait, but it's actually a 1/2 ounce. The Screaming Eagle has got weighted shank of the hook. It goes down into the shank, but it's hidden under the skirt, so you can maintain that compact size. War Eagle's born in the Ozarks and the deep, clear lakes. This is a great bait, deep, clear water, spotted bass, smallmouth. I mean, it's a fish catcher. Y'all check it out.
Welcome back to Straycast Outdoor Cartoon Television. We bring to you tonight a special feature. The spawn of the foothills of Tennessee. To the 9-year-old on Lake Okeechobee. To the 50 tournaments in 1 year with Bud. To flourishing through the FLW Tour. To persevering the Opens, to qualify for the Elites, to becoming a TV star, and finally to arrive as the 2019 Bassmaster Classic champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up right now for the one and only Ott DeFoe. Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ott DeFoe. What are you doing here, Ott?
Man, that is quite the introduction.
Well,
I've had a couple lately, but nothing like that. I've really liked that version.
Well, I'm going to tell you a true story, and this is not a true story that I just made up. It's an actual true story.
Okay.
This is real confetti from the floor of the Knoxville Coliseum or wherever the hell we were. This is from there, and we actually saved this just for this joyous occasion right
EMC
here.
confetti.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's That's pretty cool. No, that was, definitely very, very special.
Amazing, man. And first off, I mean, I think congratulations are officially in order. I don't know if you remember me yelling at you from Ike and Ellie's party congratulating you, but
yeah.
But officially, congratulations. What a very special moment, man. I mean,
wow. Thank you. Yeah, to have, period. I mean, the Bassmaster Classic anywhere is definitely pretty special, but to be right there at home, so many friends, families, everything right there made it just that much better. Something I'll never forget.
Absolutely. Hey, how's your hand after lifting that 5-pound big today with that braid?
It was a little. I thought it was going to cut my finger off there for a minute when it was thrashing around, but I finally got her settled down, and that was about 90 seconds left to go in the day.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
So when I want to tell you, man, and I think maybe you can relate, maybe you can't, but as a bass head, I know you're a fellow bass head, no doubt about it. And I'm not only a bass head, but I'm a bass fishing talk show host or whatever the hell
Yeah.
I do. Okay, so one of the cool things about this deal is I get to talk to a lot of you professional anglers.
Yeah.
Most of you, in fact. Okay, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool for me. Now the next part is and think about life, Ott. Whenever
Okay.
you have a conversation with someone, you try to relate, like.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel? Put yourself in their shoes. How do they
That's
feel? Okay. There's certain things I can relate with you professional anglers and certain things I can't, obviously, because
Yeah.
I'm not a professional angler. So in order to relate, I try to put it into perspective. And I'm like, how the heck does Ott DeFoe feel the day after the Bassmaster Classic when he wakes up? And this is my analogy. This is the closest way or the closest feeling I can imagine to something I've experienced. And I think a lot of guys can relate too. So it's kind of like the day after you lost your virginity. You know, you wake up and you're like, heck yeah, that just happened, man.
I did that.
I did that. I won the Bassmaster Classic. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You know what I mean?
I guess there would be some similarities there. Yeah, it's but yeah, no, it was definitely a surreal experience. You know, to wake up the next day, had to get up early and do a bunch of TV stuff. You know, I mean, everything that just the craziness that began immediately following. But to wake up and be like, that trophy it's still sitting right there where I
That's
thought I
real.
set it down last night. You know, apparently I didn't steal it, or they've just not found it yet. You know, and yeah, it was very surreal, and going back and looking at pictures of it and the video of it. It's not like I forgot or didn't remember it happening, but seeing it from not through my own eyes in some ways makes it more real. You know, if that makes any sense.
It
like I have to
does.
see it from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, just and still surreal, I guess. No matter how much time passes or however you look at it from a personal view, it's still got to seem surreal, though.
Yeah. No, it absolutely does. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, you know, it was announced last April. So we've talked about it for 11 months.
Yeah.
You know, it was the Classic's coming to your hometown. What about it? You know, how's it going? You know, I mean, just over and over and over. And then it finally gets to where it's, you know, a month out, and then it starts ramping up, and then it gets to where it's 2 weeks out, and then it's a week out, and then you start practice, and then media day, and I mean, it's just talking. And so there's all this build up for 11 months. I mean, there was, you know, build up. And then in 7 or 8 days, it's all over with. And really in 3, you know, for the tournament. So the fact that it built up for so long, and then it was like it was just immediately over with. But because once Classic Week comes around, it's pure chaos. I mean, you're running, you're going, you're fishing, you're off, you're at a meeting, you're at dinner, you know, so it's.
Yeah,
we
saw
very
you.
Whirlwind.
You were like a BB in a boxcar the whole time. I mean, you really were.
Exactly.
You really were.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but you kind of said the build up, and we always hear about how important momentum is in professional bass fishing. Okay, and it's kind of evident here today. You just won the Bassmaster Classic, and you're having a good derb, an amazing derb at the, you know, at Jordan right now.
Yeah.
So the deal is, I mean, my question to you is: momentum a feeling? Also, is that a feeling that you're getting out there?
I don't know that I'd say it's a feeling, but it's just that, yeah, I guess it's hard to describe because it didn't matter what I picked up today or where I went. It was never wrong in my mind.
Is it a confidence?
Yeah, it's absolutely confidence. And it was never wrong. You know, I mean, everywhere I fished, even where I didn't catch fish, I felt like I should have, you know, and then once I did get in an area and really got a couple bites and got dialed in on what was going on, I was going to catch one about everywhere I put my bait. You know, I mean, that's the way my mind was working.
So I guess momentum is a feeling.
Yeah, I guess it is.
I mean, I just thought of that today, and that's why I ask you that, because we always think of it as momentum as an action, you know, as more of an action, but I think it's upstairs too, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is because you're never second guessing, should I do this or should I do that? It's I'm just going to go do this. And, you know, there's not, and then, I mean, if this doesn't work, that's fine, because then you're going to go do that. And then,
Right.
you know,
and that's very like
You're trusting yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's almost the same exact answer that you just gave us right now, what Wesley Strader gave us when he was on his little roll last year. I mean, almost identical answer. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing, man. Hey, think about. Let's go back here a little bit in the history book, and and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think your first win was in the early 2000s in FLW, maybe even like 2008, 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah, 2008.
Okay, in the Costas. All right, and then you had I think you had 3 Elite Derb victories, and you had what else? 3 Opens, right?
Yeah, I had an All-Star in my rookie year, and then then an Elite, and 3 Opens. So the Classic made my 6th win with Bass.
6th win with Bass. Now think about those wins, Ott. All right, back to the feeling that we're talking about. Not necessarily momentum, but that funny feeling we always hear about in bass fishing. Yeah. Is there a similarity between all 7, right? 7 of those wins. That was like you knew. Was there a feeling where you knew something was gonna happen, something special was taking place?
If you go the first one back with FLW, I didn't know it in practice. I mean, I'd had a good practice. I'd caught a lot of fish that was down on Santee Cooper, and but I mean, like 9 o'clock. I remember it was 9:30 the first day before I caught one. Okay. I remember that for sure. But
it's awesome how he remembers that.
Yeah, and it was about a 4.5 pounder I caught off of a bed. I knew where it was, and I'd beat around, and I tried some other stuff, but I found him like, I got to go catch a fish. So I went to that one, caught it, and I caught a 3 pounder, 3.5 pounder, something off the bed. And then my next 3 bites were like a 6-1, a 6-8, and a 7-1.
That's upstairs in the computer. That's in the Ott log. I love it.
Well, I mean, that's because that was the first really big bag I ever caught by myself too. It was like 27, 14, 27, 11, something high 27s, and you know, I mean, that was the first really big bag over 25 I'd ever caught, and you know, that's one of those things you don't forget. But and after that day, and I was sick. I mean, and I'm sick right now. I've got bronchitis.
Could tell a little bit, yeah.
But I was sick in that tournament, and I come in, I'm leading, and I'm like, you know, I mean, this is the first big tournament I've ever led. I'm just tired. I'm ready to go to bed. You know,
yeah, sure.
Because I was just wore out, and then I go out the next day and just blast them again. You know, but it was neat to have that feeling, and I knew when I went back out I was going to catch them again. You know, so it definitely was the All-Star. I did have a little bit of feeling at that one, and I remember, you know, because that was a bracket deal, to where you only had to beat 4 people in the first deal, which was on actually Jordan Lake down in Alabama, not the same one we're here in North Carolina, but you only had to beat 4 people. The top 8 made the bracket, so I was like, well, surely I can beat 4 people, you know, out of 12, and did that easy enough, and then you know, then it was just head to head after that. You only had to beat 3 more people. You know, so I told Jenny, I'm like, I remember driving down there. I told her, so this is really the easiest tournament there's ever been to win, because I have to beat 7. There's 12 guys in it, but I only have to beat 7 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You know, and then ended up winning that one. Then the Opens at home, the first one was kind of getting a monkey off my back, because I had a couple events there, a PAA and something else that I had, maybe it was an Open that I'd led there too, and didn't win. You know, so it was kind of a deal of, I wonder if I actually can do this, and it was a deal where the first 2 days, the first day went easy. The second day was a struggle, but I put it together. And then the final day was kind of a struggle halfway through the day. And then once it got rolling, I was like, yeah, this is over with. But it was never from the start. Now the 2 in the fall, the first one that I won, 17 in the fall, I would have been pretty mad if I didn't win. I mean, that's just the way that one is. I mean, it just when it was.
It was yours to lose, as cliche as it sounds.
That one. I mean, that one I would have been upset had I not won. And then the last one there, I was not even going to fish, and Andy Montgomery told me I was crazy if I didn't.
Wow.
So I borrowed a buddy's boat, flat bottom, and jumped in that one, and I felt like it was never my tournament to win. I really didn't, because I kind of had a little bit off first day, and Patrick Walters had done so well the first 2 days.
Oh yeah.
I felt like it was his tournament to lose after 2 days, and he struggled bad, had trouble getting back to his area on the final day, and that was what allowed me to win that one. So, and that one I did. I felt like I never felt like there was a chance I'd win until I come in and got to talking to the guys.
You're
so
like, well, look at this.
half and half maybe.
So the feeling's there. The feeling is it just depends on when it creeps in.
Yeah.
But it's always there. So you always know. There's always that magic feeling.
Yeah. There is, and it's that's the deal. Is that even if you're not feeling it from the start, you got to keep pushing, because you never know when the door's going to open.
Right. We see it today. Like you're big at the last minute. You know. Yeah. Come on, dude. It's pretty amazing. Right. If I can share with you what was special to me individually about your Bassmaster Classic win. Okay. And I mean this with no disrespect. It's not necessarily about the win, but the way that the win was depicted. Okay, what happened, how it organically unfolded.
Okay.
I think all fathers will probably relate with me, okay, when I say this, because I don't care if you just won the Bassmaster Classic. I don't care if you're at the grocery store. I don't care if you're at church. I don't care if you're at the amusement park. Or if you're in the living room. Anytime your daughter says, I got the best daddy in the world, that's a heart melter, buddy. I mean, that was my favorite thing. I'm gonna tell you, I teared up a little bit, man. I'm gonna admit it. I did. It was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. No, that was extremely cool. I mean, just something that you can have, the trophy, the check, any of the rest of that. If I'd have finished dead last and she told me that, it would have felt like I would have won. You know, I mean, it really would have, because that's to hear your kids, you know, just the love and adoration that they have.
That's the best win. That's the best win right there. I mean, and that's going to, and I'm making a huge statement here, okay? And I mean this sincerely from my heart. That win right there, when they show that footage, that's going to be up there to me personally, like the Kershaw footage. When I get welly when I see the Kershaw footage, man. Right. I'm that big of a bass head. It's gonna be it's gonna be the same thing with that, man. It's history. It's history no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
Next thing that's super special, man, was the act of camaraderie between you and the Cajun.
Yeah.
That was outstanding, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Keith gave you a little something. I mean, it wasn't any new spot to you, but that's paying it forward, bro. I mean, that's pretty special also. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you watch live on the last day, I broke it down on there.
Oh yeah,
too.
Yeah.
I'd come in after the second day, and I'd had a tough day, just had 10 pounds, and Keith had a tough whole tournament. And it had like 12 pounds, I think, on the second day, but it only had a couple fish the first day. And I've run 30 miles back up the lake. Didn't take a break, load up, drive right up to the boatyard. Get up there and get parked. Man, I got to pee really bad. So I'm walking across the boatyard, headed to the porta-john. Keith's standing there, and he's kicking rocks. He's had a tough tournament. Man, I should be right in this thing. I've lost some fish, and he said, I just had a tough day. He's like, man, I pulled up on this dock today and lose a 4-pounder, caught a 3-pounder, caught a couple more times, and I like, man, there's some good fish down there if you down that way, I mean, might I'll stop by there and check it out. Is this part of the dock? And
get by with a little help from your friend.
Yeah, so I'm like, shoot, sounds good to me. So, and I'd kind of planned on doing something, fishing a different part of the lake, not necessarily fishing a majorly different pattern, but a different part of the lake than what I'd been doing the first couple of days. Plan on going down at least in the morning to start on the lower end and kind of working my way back up. But and that's where that marina was. About 9:30, 10 o'clock, I pulled up there and it was on pretty good.
What were you throwing that chatter chicken in there?
Yeah, it was a bladed jig, 3/8 ounce chartreuse and white bladed jig.
What were you throwing on the back of that thing?
It was that Yamamoto, that Zaco.
Oh, that Zaco.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that thing on the back of
Yeah.
those things, man. And I've kind of gone back to the Lake Fork too, switching
Right.
up back and forth because everybody would seem to be throwing that Zaco. Then you give it a little change up on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a little something. something.
It works good. That's for sure.
Spring is a magic time for winders, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I mean, I've always loved to fish that way, cover water, just throw stuff out and bring it back. And it's a good time to do it.
And you were fishing that lipless, that storm bait.
Yeah.
I mean, to a lot of people, it was unconventional. Around here, we fish it quite often like that in the rivers and in the lakes too. But it was kind of a lot of people would think you would just stick with the the flat side or a square bill, and you were kind of banging that lipless around. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's something that in the spring we've always fished here. I think people automatically think of it on a Gunnersville or a Rayburn or wherever where you've got grass and stuff, and it was strictly rock, gravel, type stuff that I was fishing with it. But man, a lipless crankbait is good. It doesn't matter what you're fishing around pre-spawn. A lipless crankbait will catch them. I mean, it's just the action that it has. That especially that storm is a pretty tight wobble. A quiet kind of a knocker style rattle in it. And I think there's something to be said about, crankbait, you pause it, it floats, or maybe it suspends. That thing where you stop it and it sinks, it's the same deal. It's a different look, so
different
you
trigger.
Kind of pop that bait up, sometimes it triggers a strike because it falls instead of it rising. And I think early in the year, especially, there's something to be said about that. It's just wintertime fishing a blade bait. It's the same deal. You lift the bait up, you drop the bait back. It's kind of that, but just in shallower water, more on a cast and retrieve type thing. So I think there's something to be said about that in those cooler temps, especially pre-spawn, under 55 degrees, that makes the lipless really effective.
And it's something that a lot of people just don't do. We do it all the time.
Right.
But a lot of people don't
we yo-yo that thing a lot.
Heck yeah.
Hey, what
and
do you...
it was probably half and half of what was, I would lift it. It was never a rip, but, a lift. And then as it started to fall back, my bites came. It was probably 50-50 of a lift and drop versus just straight retrieve.
And I like when it's that little jig bite on that thing, too. Exactly.
What do you think is the best rod and line combination for working that lipless slow like that in the spring?
I was fishing on the same thing. I pretty well always do Bass Pro crank and stick 7.6 with a pretty big rod, a 7.6 medium heavy.
Okay.
I like the length because I was fishing out in open water, so I was making pretty long casts. I was never casting it around anything, and I just like the added length for cast and for power over the fish. And it's exactly the same rod that I was actually fishing the bladed jig on as well.
Now you would use that same rod if you're ripping it out of grass or thick grass or anything like that. 7.6?
Yeah, and fluoro. I was using 17 Bass Pro fluoro on it. If I was fishing a lot of heavy grass and was really having to rip it a lot, I would switch to braid, but stick with the same rod.
Okay.
Yeah. You're just a little bit more efficient cleaning the bait off with braid than you are fluoro. So that's
right.
That would be the only. I'd stick with the same rod, but just maybe switch to braid if I was fishing a lot of grass.
Okay.
There you go.
That's heavier. I'd never thrown it on 17. I'm always throwing 12 or 15 or whatever, but.
Yeah, I
works.
usually fish it on 14, but because I was fishing so shallow, the fish I caught on that lipless were 1.5 to 3.5.
Okay.
And once I got that depth dialed in practice, I was like, I'm for sure going with 17 just to help,
Right.
keep
it up.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the deal with that special little flat Rapala crankbait that you're jacking with the lip. What is that? And how did you figure that out? And why are you doing it? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, that's something that it was 4 or 5 years ago, I guess, that I started playing with that. Yeah, that flat 3, the flat 3 and flat 7. There was a flat 9, I think, as well.
Sure.
But the 3 and 7 have, they've always been good baits, great casting baits. Most flat sides homemade stuff are pretty light and can be hard to cast, but those Rapala flat baits cast really well. And the 3 was a good bait, and I would catch fish on it, but mostly when the water was warmer, 55, 60, up in that range. And it was a good bait in the fall as well, but it's got a pretty hard kick. It comes with a coffin lip in it. Not a real tight bait, but that profile, the actual profile itself is almost identical to a lot of the homemades that I've always thrown.
Sure.
I mean,
the secret ones that you make, are you still making them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard about
it's slightly bigger, but it is almost identical. I mean, the outline of the body is just nearly spot on. And I thought, man, I wonder what would happen if I put a lip in it that's slightly bigger, because the bait's a little bit bigger as to what I normally use, and same angle. So, I mean, the bill angle, the line tie, the size of the bill just complements the bait, but it's all basically built around the homemades that I've built and fished forever. And the first one I tried, man, it was a champ. And actually, the very first time the bait was cast, it caught a 3-pounder. That's
I saw it in Ike's boat, and I don't know, man. I mean, how much did he pay you for that? What did that take?
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't pay any. Those were free of charge. But yeah, no, he had texted me after practice and said, "Hey man, give me a call. I got a question about a bait." And I forgot. I gave him some. I don't know. Back when I made them, I gave him some. I gave BP some. Brandon Polinick,
sure.
A couple other guys on the Rapala team, just to, hey, try these. It's something I played around with, and BP had caught some fish on it, liked it before and stuff. And Mike had texted me, after practice, like, man, I've only got one, and it's what I'm catching a lot of fish on. And I was like, man, that's no problem. I'll put you some more together. So I think I made him up 4 more. But one evening there before, it was it Monday or Tuesday? Maybe Tuesday, before the tournament. So, yeah.
Did you marinate them in bananas and gasoline before you gave them to him, or no?
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that would have been it. Soak them in some gas. So yeah, no. It's all good.
They're thinking he made these.
Yeah.
And this is his home water. He probably tested them here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's another example of paying it forward. Good things happen,
And I'll actually say, if I don't know if Jenny's watching or not, my wife, but like I'd made up. BP had asked me for some more, and I made him up a few more, and then did those for Mike, and she's like, "Tell me why you're doing this again."
She's like, "We gotta pay our light bill, honey."
Kindness.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. The bait's not going to make them win or lose.
That's right.
Speaking of that sort of thing, I got to know about your practice out there. I hadn't heard you talk about that. Being that it is your home water, are you practicing differently for this event because you might not want people following you around, or? I mean, did that play a factor?
I mean, there were definitely areas I stayed away from.
Okay.
And a few areas that I only fished when I knew, I didn't spend much time on, and I made sure that nobody else was in the general vicinity.
No sight fishermen.
Fish quick. But yeah, no, I did. And what was interesting in practice, and especially the first day of the tournament, and I think it was just a timing thing that first day, but man, in practice, I didn't see many people on the main river, and that was my deal from the start.
Wow.
I mean, you could get bit in those pockets and stuff, but that deal ended up going away. But I intended to fish main river, and just really didn't see many people who were fishing out there. Other than Jacob Wheeler, I saw him a few times in practice on the main river, but there weren't many people spending a lot of time out there on the main run, and that was. it wasn't easy. I mean, by any means, you had to know the little key spots and where those fish were and what they used, and they weren't always there. I mean, you may pull up a place that was really key for me. First day, I hit it pretty early in the morning, no bites. I would go around. I end up catching a limit. I'd caught that 6-pounder, and I had a keeper smallmouth. I pull back up there at like 1 o'clock, keeper smallmouth, short smallmouth, small largemouth, keeper smallmouth, bam, 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 bam. So, you know, I mean, that's the way. And then I ended up ending my tournament there and catching another 4-pound largemouth late on the final day. But it was timing. So, I mean, you could have rolled through that area in practice, not got bent, but like, oh, this point ain't no good. But just having the knowledge of knowing which ones were good, and the fact that you did have to keep cycling back through them, and that eventually you'd pull up there when one was ready to feed.
Yeah, and that's got to be a good feeling, not seeing people out. I mean, that's probably the best part of your practice is not seeing people out there, right?
It was, and I mean, that was when I didn't see guys out there fishing much. I didn't see them, you know, graphing or anything. You couldn't graph the fish; they were too shallow. But they weren't even out there looking around on that kind of stuff. You know, guys were running the banks, bluffs, rock transitions. You know, stuff that looks good, and they caught them on. But I knew I would have all these places where I didn't have any other pressure, and that was what made it pretty sweet.
That's awesome when you have your own milk run, your own private milk run, man.
Yeah, that's and that's, you know, that's what it was, and that's what it was for me 15 years ago.
Sure.
With the milk run. But in a local tournament, you would have to share it some because you're fishing against everybody on the lake who knows a lot of the good stuff. So you may round the corner and have to skip 3 places to get to the next one because there's boats on them. Where I mean, any place I wanted to go, I could pretty well pull up anytime.
That's awesome, man. And again, it worked out. Perfect storm, man. Perfect storm.
Yeah.
Hey, you had a good day today. I mean, you looked very comfortable. You were in some very familiar-looking water.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, 44 pounds of fish today. 13 bass. It's a pretty decent.
It's a really good average.
3 pound something average, right?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, this place is insane as far as the average size fish, and they're not that big. Is the deal? I mean,
they're like foosballs.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I had a 515 today, and I don't know that fish was 20 or 21 inches long. I mean, they're just so girthy. I don't know what it is in this water. If it's just genetics, I'm not sure that they are so unbelievably healthy. But man, this is a special place.
It looks awesome, and they look mean. I like that.
Yeah, and it's funny. I mean, a lot of the bites, I didn't have any bite today that was like, boom. None of them. They were all just, yeah, that's a fish.
Okay.
You know, I mean, none of the bites were aggressive, but then you jerk, and it's something that's just big around as it is long, you know.
And you were doing something really cool today, and it's something that I learned from Rick Clunn ages ago. And you were fishing in the colder water, in the muddier water, in the springtime, in the current. And Clunn taught us years ago that there's a few neutralizers in bass fishing, and one of them is current. Whatever you know about anything, current throws it out the door.
We were doing it on Sunday.
Yes, sir. And I mean, that was awesome, dude. I mean, is that something you're familiar with, or you kind of just dialed it in at this event? I mean,
no, I like fishing current a little bit.
That was a loaded question. I'm sure you know.
I've been known to seek it out from time to time, but yeah, no, it is something. And the water's cool. I mean, it was 53, 55 degrees. It warmed up to like 56 this afternoon, maybe 57 even. But I will say that I was surprised that. And I did have a couple bites in there on moving baits, but for sure the jig was better. I mean, there was no doubt that it was. But, you know, when I'd fished around some other areas, pull in there, I mean, like second flip, catch a 3.5 pounder. And it was on a piece of wood where everybody would pull up and pitch something into it. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, just keep this thing in your hand. This is a really pretty rock bank up through here. Current hits it good. And I do that some. It's not something I do enough that I just pitch a jig at a rock bank. I do it some at home, but most times I'm wanting to grab a crankbait or a bladed jig or spinner bait or whatever else and reel it down through there. But I just put it in my hand, and I went 40 feet up the bank and caught one almost 6. Just pitching it pitching at the bank, not at any real target. When I caught that one doing that, I'm like, you better just leave this in your hand and just stick with it.
You talk
Get the
to
duct tape out.
You had a little talk with you.
Tape it to your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that definitely was the right move. And once I caught that one, number one, it was a really good one, but it was also the fact of take into account what today is. It's high skies, bluebird. We had a little bit of wind, but it was not a good fishing day. It just wasn't the kind of day that the fish should be just chewing on a moving bait.
Yeah, and you picked the jig. I saw you throwing a couple different color jigs? You had one with like some chartreuse in it and one looked kind of pumpkin-y. What was it?
I started with black, blue, and chartreuse. Both jigs were Terminator Pros jigs, and colors that I designed. Actually, that'll be released at ICAST this year. That first one is called Overdose, but it's black, blue, chartreuse, and then I had a green pumpkin blue flake chunk on it. And that was what I picked up with. Water's muddy, black, blue. Hey,
sure.
kind of what the book says you're supposed to do. And as soon as I got it in there, dude, it was on. And I caught like 4 or 5 real quick. And then towards the end of that second period, the bite kind of tailed off a little bit. I got a few more bites, but it definitely tailed off. The sun got higher. I don't know if the water cleaned a little or not for sure while I was in there, but I don't know. But it just, the bite tailed off a little bit. So third period starts. Like instant, two flips. I get a bite. It didn't feel like a good bite, but I got a bite and jerk missed it. Just whiffed. Felt like it had a hold of the legs. It just kind of slid my chunk down, didn't pull the legs off, but felt like it had a hold of the back of it. 5 minutes later, exact same thing. Boom, jerk, whiff. That's weird. So I had it happen a third time, and I finally I put that thing down, picked up a Bama Crawl, another new color, and it was everybody got a call. So what made me tie that one on was one of the fish I caught in the second period. When I swung him in the boat, I saw something fall out of his mouth, and I pick it up, and it was a crawdad pincher about like that.
Okay.
And it was, kind of green pumpkin, a little bit of orange, not black and blue,
right,
but a very natural crawdad looking color. And I feel like that's, as the sun got up or whatever it was, they went from just thumping that jig of whatever color it was. I don't think it would have mattered. It was the black and blue one to start with, but to where they were just picking up the tails of that chunk that were green pumpkin. And now that I saw that, I'm like, nah, I just need to make my whole jig look exactly right, and they'll have no excuse but to eat it.
And that's a perfect example of a professional angler versus a weekend angler right there. The light bulb went off, and you're like, okay, let's equate this to success.
Yeah, we would have just complained that they weren't eating that good that
day. If they ain't eating, I'm going to Long John Silver's at 2 today. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Getting out of here. Hey, I want to ask you a little bit about the conversion from the Elites to Bass Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. And I love watching the Bass Pro Tour. I'm like we started the show. I'm a bass head, bro. So the more there is for me to watch and consume, right. I love it. I love it. But here's my take on the Bass Pro Tour so far.
Okay.
It doesn't seem real to me.
Okay.
I enjoy it, but and I don't know, maybe you'll relate to this analogy. When I was a kid, there was a thing called the Battle of the Network Stars. Do you have any idea what that is?
Not a clue.
Okay, well, it was like well, good. I'll tell you real quick. All the network stars got together, and they had a big, decathlon deal. Let's try another analogy. So how about let's move it up a little bit. Remember when the U.S. Olympic basketball team used to play the Harlem Globetrotters?
I know what both of those are. I can't say I remember.
Okay.
Well,
I'm totally. When that fish was hitting that jig and you were whiffing, that's what I'm doing right now. You're that fish, and I'm Ott DeFoe. So anyway, so so it's like just the biggest stars, and they're getting together and just having a kick-ass time, man.
Right.
But it's like to me, it seems like a special event. It
Yeah,
does. It doesn't.
I follow you.
Like the dream team.
Yeah, and there's no disrespect, man. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it, but it just don't seem real to me yet. Is that? Am I making any sense, or am I? Thinking?
No, I totally hear you, and I think the reason, and my, because I know exactly what you're saying, and it's because there's not a lot of history. There's very little, actually, just 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of history. So the prestigiousness of what's going on is all still so new.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's experienced it. It's all new. We don't know how it's going to work. So that's why it wasn't, our Red Crest Championship won't be the 49th one that they've ever been, like the Bassmaster Classic just was.
Right.
That's the deal. There's not the history. There's not the stats. There's not the guys who built their careers with this. It's all new. So there's a lot of really big names in the Bass Pro Tour, so it makes it special. But at the same time, you don't have that. Remember that time when Rick Clunn won this, remember that comeback that Larry Nixon did for that. You don't have those yet. We're building the very first ones of these right now, and that's why it does feel like kind of, what is this thing?
Yeah.
We don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, you guys are writing the history right now. It's happening
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
And I enjoy the broadcast.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, man. I mean, anytime you can watch professional anglers fish, you're going to learn from it. And especially when you guys are, for lack of a better way to put it, forced to fish like us. You know what I mean? You got to be FBRs, freaking bank runners, and that's how most of us fish.
Yeah.
It's
and that's what I love about this. With the tour, we get 2 days to fish. 2 days to practice for these events. But like here, we got I spent a day on Jordan and a day on Falls, and they're both 15, 20,000 acre lakes.
Right.
You ain't gonna break that down in a day.
No, not happening.
Places you've never been before. So, man, you're shooting from the hip. You're trying to figure something out, and that is what I love about this. That's what I love about the cups and stuff. Is that you're going to a place that's hopefully unknown, a place you've never been, and then you just put the boat in the water. And you got to go figure out how to catch them, and use your instincts and use your equipment that you've got, and try to make the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And
nothing more exciting than going to a new lake. You guys are doing
That's
it.
right.
That's
And
what
matters.
keeps it real for
Yeah.
us. Yeah, absolutely. So
And it's what you said too. It makes it very relatable for the guy who works 5 days a week and is off on Saturday and wants to go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes, because I've heard it before. Well, yeah, I'd hope you could catch 20 pounds if you got 4 days to go practice for a tournament.
Right.
yeah,
And you hear that kind of stuff.
of
So
course you do.
when you impress that guy when you go out there on a place you've never been before, and then you catch 5 bigger ones than he's ever seen, or 12, or however many, whatever the number
just
Yeah.
light them
It's
up.
not that easy. Yeah.
is. Right.
Now, I wanted to ask you this, and I don't know the answer to this. So, do you have to? Can you fish the Bassmaster Classic next year?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. It's like, because there was a thing with Clausen or something.
Right.
And I don't remember exactly how that went down, but
yeah. With Luke, I think that it was pretty clear cut in the rules. With the way the rule is written right now, it's essentially their decision. It's Bass's decision.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's truly not yes you can or no you can't. That there kind of is some discretion there. So I would certainly love to. I would cherish that ability to be able to come back and defend my title. If they decide that that's not the way it's going to be, then I respect their decision. But I would certainly love to.
Well, I just got this news in right here.
Okay.
Yes, you are allowed to fish the Bassmaster Classic next year, but you must do it blindfolded and with your arms tied behind your back, because it is at the Tennessee River again. So that's
I've got big toes, so I can fish.
That's a true story we just made up right there. No, that's it. I mean, I hope you can. It would be awesome. I'm sure you would do it in a heartbeat too if you can.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Hey, like we like to screw around on this show, right?
Just a little bit.
So enough of this like standard interview stuff. Let's get to the fun stew and giggles dumplings. What do you say?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, we're gonna play a little game here, and it's called the Think Like You're Not Thinking.
Like you're not thinking.
That's Curly.
What's the matter with you?
That's
I'm
Curly.
trying to think, but nothing happens.
See, yeah, just like Curly said, you got to think like nothing happens. So you've seen Home Alone, the movie Home Alone, right? And he says, or maybe that's Uncle Buck. He's like, "What's your record for consecutive questions in a row?"
That's Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah.
So
that's not Home Alone. Yeah, I know Home Alone.
Yeah, that's Uncle Buck. Yeah, he pulls the hatchet out of the trunk. That's the John Candy in that one. So, but I'm just gonna ask you some rapid fire questions and think like you're not thinking. Give me the first answer that pops to your head.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. It's time to play. Think like you're not thinking with 2019 Bassmaster Classic champion Ott DeFoe. The first think like you're not thinking is the strangest lure you have ever caught a fish on.
A Budweiser beer can lure.
A Budweiser beer, the classic heading. I know it well. The biggest slacker at the General Tires office.
Oh, Skeet.
Skeet, by hands down. Old Shooter McGavin.
Whether you're thinking or not thinking, you know that one.
Hands down.
Yeah.
This song describes my life to a T.
I'm Ring of Fire just because I like to sing.
Okay, of course. We've seen that here before on the show. Yes. Have you ever sang Johnny Cash on another bass fishing talk show besides this?
No.
Good. We're the winners.
There's no other bass fishing talk show, is there?
Thank you very much. Clip of the week.
See.
I eat way too much of this. What is it, Ott?
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. The worst.
Drive-through fried chicken. Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Love it.
Yep.
The worst punishment you ever got from Bud.
Oh, it'd be whippings.
Whippings.
Yeah.
With switches?
With a belt.
No?
With the belt. What'd you
Oh,
do?
yeah.
What'd you do? Like, give us an example.
Usually not keeping my mouth shut. It was too in my mouth. It got me in trouble.
Did he say, "You shut your mouth when you talk to me, boy"?
Yeah,
He
exactly.
gave you a couple
Keep
of those.
your mouth closed
Yeah.
when you talk to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The fish that haunts you the most. What's the fish that haunts you the most?
That would be a fish that was on a bed at the St. Johns River on the third day. That was the first tournament of the year, and it was an 8 to 10 pounder. And if I would have caught it and everything else went the same, I would have won Angler of the Year.
No.
That's a haunter. That's what you call a haunter.
Yeah.
Hey, if there was a movie about your life, who would play the actor of Ott DeFoe? Who would be the famous?
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. 100%.
All right, all right.
I mean, we look very similar.
100%.
Similar voice, too.
Yes, you and The
Yeah.
Rock. You and The Rock look very similar, too. Did you see that?
Yeah. The thing The Rock and I have the most in common, especially from about the era of that picture, was the jewelry. Chains.
I thought you were going to say the fanny pack.
The fanny pack's
Not
pretty
the fanny
badass,
pack,
too.
but the jewelry
The leather
was
fanny pack.
about on point. I probably actually had a couple more rings than he did.
Can you please send us a picture of that? Or we need to get with Jenny.
Yeah, I'll see. I'll try to get Jenny to find one. Yeah.
All right, fishing question. Let's pick one configuration: Colorado, Indiana, Colorado, Willow. Pick one.
Colorado, Indiana.
Colorado, Indiana.
That's the right answer.
See how I did that, guys?
Yeah.
Thank
That was smooth.
Thank you. Tell us a joke. Tell us a joke.
I'm really bad at jokes.
So what? Tell us one anyway. It's a talk show.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
not to put. Yeah. I'm pretty burnt.
All right, I got you. Well, here's the punchline. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? That's the punchline. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
I
what.
was trying to think of a knock joke, but I couldn't.
Good enough. When the girls are with you next time, they'll knock it out, I'm sure.
They will. Yes. Yeah.
The maddest that Jenny has ever been at you, and why?
Ooh. That would have been when we got engaged, and I told her that I didn't want to get married with that quick.
Oh, wow.
Whoop.
Hey.
Yeah.
Was there a derby?
Wow.
No, it was on the day she bought her wedding dress.
Ooh.
Oh, boy.
Wow, Ott.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, it was
Playing hard to get there, aren't you, DeFoe?
Hold up
Yeah.
on the
See,
dress.
Yeah.
see
We
what
tra-
he
we
did.
tracked that out.
Got a boat payment, honey. Gonna
Well,
have
looks
to-
like it
Yeah.
all worked out, so that's good.
Yeah, we tracked that out.
All comes out in the wash. See
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
As everybody knows, she won.
yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, who would win in a race, a running race? Mark Davis or David Fritz?
No, I don't think there's a winner.
They both lose.
I don't think you could call either one a win.
I think the race is still going on.
Calling
Actually.
it a draw. Calling it a draw in the joust. Were you
Yeah.
nervous about dropping that BMC trophy at the Derb when you hoisted it?
No,
No?
I was not at all.
Not at all?
When Jordan handed it to me, he said, "Man, congratulations, you earned it." He said, "This sucker's heavy. Throw your phone away and get a new number."
That's good
And when he
advice.
handed it to me, I was like, I knew it was heavy, but once I got my grip on it, there was no worry of it going anywhere.
You got the panda mittens all over it, didn't you?
Yeah, locked
Wow.
it down.
It just looks awkward. It looks
Yeah.
awkward to carry.
Oh my
I
God!
wanted to do it one-handed, but it is a little heavy to do one-handed.
You wanted to Jordan it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been outstanding. You would have won up the Mike with his stage dive for sure if you would have
Yeah.
Jordan
Yeah.
that trophy.
Yeah, that would have been sweet.
Hey, how many rods are in your rod locker at all times?
It varies between about 29 and 33.
29 and 33. He's got the system down. Okay.
And that's never it's never on purpose. But if I went out there and counted right now, it'd probably be about 31.
Sounds systematic.
Sure.
though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, but it sounds systematic to me. All right, here's 4 anglers. Ott DeFoe, Seth Fighter, Brian Thrift, and Andy Morgan. Pick one of them
Okay.
to be on your team, and you got to compete against the other 2 in the Derb.
I would for sure. That'd be tough. It'd be a coin toss for me between Thrift and Morgan. I'm probably gonna say I'll go with Thrift on my team.
Because he's an animal. He's just a flat-out animal.
Yeah. The only problem though with fishing with Thrift is the secondhand smoke.
Well, it'll be the same way with Fighter,
Same
too.
with Fighter.
There'll
Yeah,
be
different
darts in the air.
brands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
So-
That's right.
So
Yeah.
okay, but you're picking Thrift. You're going to sacrifice your health for the win.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a competitor, fierce. I get
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Will you please send me some of those crankbaits that you make? That's one of these questions. Think like you're not thinking.
Probably not.
Damn it.
I appreciate you asking so nice.
I'm the guy that brought confetti.
You
You
lost
did
the
bring
game.
Yeah,
confetti.
I'm the guy that brought confetti from your win. You
Yeah.
won't even send me any
But
damn
what-
crankbaits.
You said some though.
Or
so
just one. Just one.
One.
Yeah.
One is doable.
Okay, one.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
I just won it, my own game.
There you
See,
go.
that just happened right there.
Yeah.
He brought a whole bag of confetti.
Yeah, I brought a whole dang
Big
bag
bag
of
of
confetti. Right
Probably
here.
looked like a moron down there picking it up. Too.
Here's the final question, and
Okay.
think like you're not thinking. What is the best damn bass fishing talk show that's on Wednesday nights at 7 Central on StrayCast.net?
It would be Stray Cats outdoor cartridge. Yeah.
That's right, Brian
The
Setzer
one.
and the rest of them.
Yeah.
Ott DeFoe, you're amazing. You are absolutely amazing, and I know.
I like the Stray Cat instead of cat. I like the cat.
I like how you
Strutting.
did that. He's the stray cat strutting, you know.
Yeah.
He's a real
Yeah.
Casanova, you know, as he
Sail
told us
in the
here.
air.
Yeah. All right, man. We know you are whooped and beat. You don't fish tomorrow then?
No,
Yeah,
I
you're
got
off tomorrow.
off,
Good.
so-
You can rest that bronchitis up. But
That's right.
Before you go, just one more little bit of shenanigans, okay?
Okay.
Now
Okay.
we always sing Johnny Cash together, you and I.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that this time. Okay.
Okay.
But what I have noticed, I'm trying to find you an occupation for when you retire. I'm always
Okay.
always looking to the future for you guys.
Yeah.
I got a good heart. I'm looking out.
Yeah.
All right. So I think you have an amazing voice. As I've been in
Thank you.
broadcasting for a little bit, and I could tell a good voice. You got an amazing voice.
Thank
so
you.
what we're gonna do narration in the future.
Okay,
That's
I
gonna
can do
be that's gonna be your job as like a narrator. So let's practice a scenario.
Okay.
We're gonna call this Campfire Stories with Paw Ott.
Campfire stories with Paw Ott.
Yeah, that's right. So now
Okay.
we're gonna go way into the future here, and you're a grandpa now. Okay.
Okay.
You're a grandpa, Paw. And
Yep.
and you have to your little grandson. He loves bass fishing. He just loves bass fishing, and he says, Paw Ott, tell me what's so special about bass fishing. Now let's build a fire. Let's build a fire. Let's start this. Let's get the ambiance going. Are you ready?
Yep.
Can you hear it? Are you feeling it? It's
Oh.
yeah. You're out in the forest with
I got it, yeah.
with your grandson. We're
Yep.
we're around the campfire.
Yeah.
Now your grandson asks you what's so special. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
What's so special about bass fishing?
Come on, Ott, you're up. Tell a story, Paw.
Well, son, it's really about getting that bite. You know, when you feel that tug on the end of the line, you just really don't know what it's going to be. So that moment of time, buddy, you'll never forget. Between when you feel the bite and you set the hook, it's the moment that everything else stops. That is what makes bass fishing.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2019 Bassmaster Classic champion Ott DeFoe.
That was good.
I think we can do that.
Wow,
I think that could be your future.
that's your
narration.
future.
Long time from now.
Do some voiceovers.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see it. And I saw you getting a little teary-eyed when you were
Yeah.
talking to grandson there.
That's right.
I mean, that was pretty.
You got
awesome.
to feel the emotion. It doesn't come out in your voice otherwise.
You're a fine method actor, way better than McConaughey. Way better than McConaughey. Dude, thanks so much for coming on this show. What's this, his third time? This is your third appearance, bro. Thank you for the support you show this show constantly, and I hope to see you very soon, man.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks so much, and congratulations again.
Yeah, absolutely. Knock him out, man.
Well deserved.
We need a BPT win out of you now.
I would love that. Sure would.
The momentum is the feeling. Remember, Ott, the
It
momentum
is.
is the
The
feeling.
feeling.
There it is. Good night,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Get some rest.
Yep.
Get rid of that
Thanks,
bronchitis.
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
See ya.
that is Ott DeFoe. There it is.
Awesome.
Ott DeFoe. Boom. I loved the Bassmaster Classic this year.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It was, I mean, and just the experience. Like, last year,
I love it every year.
well, last year was,
it was good
the-
again.
the first one I ever attended. And this year, it was even more dramatic, or emotional.
There was a
if that-
buzz.
yeah. I mean, just the stadium, the whole deal, it was crazy. It was, what's Fat Cat say? Wall to wall, treetop tall. I think that's about what it is. Does JP's microphone work now?
It's always on. He's got to talk into it.
What are you doing, JP? Yeah.
He's trying to grab it like Jerry Lee.
He's crooning. He's crooning again.
Don't
Is
do
what
that.
he's what he's doing. Are you okay? Yeah. Is it? Oh my goodness gracious!
Great balls of fire.
Uh-oh.
Who dat?
I don't know. Apparently we have a surprise phone call.
Uh-oh.
Who could this be?
Got her.
Oh,
Yeah.
not sure who it is.
Yeah. Yes.
Dean the Machine again.
Oh, it's Dean. No, Dean, you can't win.
Every time, man.
Dean wanted to win the line and lure.
He's always butt dialing in the middle of his
He's
activities.
always catching them. I'll give him that. Dude's
He's always catching them.
I had a nice conversation with Dean at the BMC. I really enjoyed talking with Dean. Real nice guy. He was way cooler to me this time than the last time.
He's also one of the anglers that doesn't wear flip-flops. I like that also.
Yeah, that was one of my questions. Damn
High
it!
tops.
In the thing, I wanted to ask Ott if he was kind of upset that Aaron's macking on his barefooting.
They're both barefooting and wearing socks,
Yeah.
too. Also fishing in socks.
Something's up with those guys. I don't know.
They got to
what's
figure
happening.
it's supposed to be better for you.
Ott's a
I
great
looked it up.
campfire storyteller.
He's really good. Yeah. I'd like to be his grandson.
Yes, man. I think
Irie.
you know what time it is when you hear that music start to play, man. It's time for the line and lure giveaway.
Oh boy.
Big time.
Yeah, Rastafari.
Irie.
Lineandlure.com. Kevin Van Dam's Line and Lure Conditioner Spray. $50 worth to a lucky winner.
Oh, bum bum.
Bomboclat.
Bum.
Bomboclat JPI.
Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
You're not doing reggae?
He's got a
Yeah,
new one.
We're just gonna announce it.
Okay, there you go.
We
How many fireball shots have you had?
every time it's the hardest name ever that pops up.
You picked it.
Bartholomew
No,
Sampadius Motaniki
The computer
Jabangalo
picks it. I
Jamiroquai.
don't pick it.
Who is it?
Tonight's winner, Austin
Austin
Presbalewski.
Presbalewski.
Presbalewski, like from the Wire?
$50 worth of
Yes.
light and lure conditioner.
Presbalewski.
That is Presbalewski from The Wire. Austin Presbalewski.
Austin Presbalewski.
I hope you
Come
didn't-
on down. You have to be present to claim your prize. Oh, he's not here.
This is off the rails.
You won the $50 KVD Line and Lure
Yes, you did.
prize pack.
Prize back.
Presbalewski.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Austin-
Presbalewski. Your first name's Austin. Definitely Austin.
Austin, you won. Anyone named Austin, apparently you won. Ah, yes.
Hey.
Thank you very much. It's been another exciting episode of Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. Yeah.
Been a wild, wacky night over here.
Watch the fat bearded woman sing next week.
La 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 la.
It's been a good time. I don't know what to tell you. We have a hell of a great time doing this every week. Every week we do. And it comes out. Yeah.
It comes
I
out.
think it conveys.
That was fun.
Thank you to all our sponsors. We appreciate everything you do. Without you, this show could not happen. Also, thank you, most importantly, to all of you that viewed tonight. Again, and remember, the show is available after the cast on iTunes, on Spotify, on the Pandora box. Pandora's best when she's in the box. When she gets out of the box, she gets freaking wild. It's kind of like letting the monkey out of the jar. I'm just saying.
The YouTubes.
I'm just saying. She's a honey dicker,
Yeah.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
The other one is
The YouTubes.
the YouTubes. Yeah, we got a YouTube channel.
Hey.
Go figure.
How about
So does
that?
everybody, right?
How
Hey,
about that?
so do we. I don't know. Whatever. Go to our YouTube channel and
Get there.
subscribe.
If you want.
Subscribe. But seriously, sincerely, thank you to all that watched tonight. We'll be back next week with another exciting Stray Cats Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick, Ryan Whitaker, JP High, Andrew Ellenberger, Larry Kyleman. Let's bring you out with some techno.
Ciao.
Harmonica.
Ciao. I don't think it works with.
I blew a reed.
What about Lou Reed?